Happy Wednesday, ladies, welcome. So today we're going to be talking about intermittent fasting. So this week in our group is all about unlocking your weight loss code. So what I mean by that is that everyone has a different metabolic blueprint. One diet might work a little bit differently than the next person. So this week we are exploring some options that you have in order to get the ball rolling on your own weight loss goals. So we're gonna be talking about all the things intermittent fasting. So I was actually gonna go live tomorrow, but we have a little ice day here today. So I had to reschedule my lunch with my girlfriend. I also had to reschedule all my personal training clients. So here we are a day early. I thought I'd hop on here live and share with you everything about intermittent fasting. Hey, ladies, make sure if you did not watch the carb cycling video that we did on Monday that you hop into our group and catch the replay. All right, ladies, so if you're live, pop into the comments, say hello. Make sure if you guys have any questions, whether you're here live or watching the replay, that you pop into the comments. So intermittent fasting, so what exactly is it? So it is a diet strategy. What it does, it helps you get into a calorie deficit. So how this is done, you generally skip a meal. Most people skip dinner or actually skip breakfast. So you might hear of the window, the fasting window. So the most common one is 16-8. So that's going to be 16 hours of fasting, and then you have an 8-hour window where you're going to eat all of your meals. And basically what this does, it just makes it easier to be in a calorie deficit, but there is also some science behind it. So the other thing that it's good for is digestion. So it can be really healing for the gut whenever you implement intermittent fasting into your life, because it gives your body a break from digesting food, and that has all sorts of health benefits, guys. I know you probably have heard me talk about how important gut health is. A lot of times we overlook how important it is, but here's the thing, guys. If your gut health is not good, you're gonna have a hard time losing weight, okay? Very much related to your metabolic health. So that being said, the other part of it is not just being in calorie deficit, but healing the gut. So basically, decreasing inflammation, okay, which can make weight loss really difficult. So those are the two benefits. Easier to be in a calorie deficit, okay, because you're going to be decreasing your calories, because you're basically going to be skipping a meal whenever you fast, and then the healing benefits of fasting with gut health. So those are the two main things, and that's exactly why it works. Here's the thing though, ladies, it doesn't quite work for everybody. I'm one of those people, I'm not a great person, a candidate for fasting. We'll talk a little bit about why that is, but here is what intermittent fasting is great for. So I always say intermittent fasting is great choice for you if, get it right, intermittent fasting if. So first of all, guys, you want to make sure that you have your nutrition dialed in. This is so important, because if you're dealing with things like emotional eating, if you're overeating on a regular basis, you need to address that first, okay? That is really crucial, because whenever you're going that long without food, once that window opens up, if you guys are having issues with overeating and hunger, you can't get the hunger under control, then what happens is whenever that window opens up, a lot of times, if you don't have those things under control, you will likely overeat, which defeats the whole purpose, right? Because the whole purpose is to be in a calorie deficit. So you definitely want to make sure that you have your nutrition dialed in. So if you have any issues with overeating, emotional eating, things like that, you need to address that first. And that also goes to say, make sure you have good quality nutrition, because on the days that you fast, you're not going to be taking in a lot of calories. So you definitely want to make sure that those calories are of quality, okay? We're not doing things like eating fast food. We're not wasting calories on things like soda, packaged foods, processed foods, things that are rich in excess starch, sugar, and fat. So basically junk food, right? So we want to make sure that we have a clean diet. Ladies, this is a more advanced nutrition strategy. So I highly recommend, if you don't have your nutrition quality dialed in, or if you're having issues with overeating, that you address those two things first. That's really, really crucial, okay? Intermittent fasting may work for you if, okay, you're not training for a special event or you're not a super athlete, okay? And the reason why is because if you are training for something like a half marathon, a marathon, something like a mud run that's really intensive, like a Spartan race, anything like that, if you're someone who is working out 90 plus minutes a day, this probably isn't a good option for you. And that's exactly why I don't really like to fast. At least I don't do it very often. I will do it sometimes, and I'll explain that a little bit later. But if you're an athlete, guys, you need to make sure that you are not skimping on your calories, because that can interfere with your recovery. It could also interfere with any building of muscle mass. So if you are trying to build strength and muscle tone, then you might not be a good candidate for fasting. Of course, that's all going to be just based on person to person, depending on where you are, how far you need to go. Do you need to lose fat, right? So all of those factors are going to come into play. Not to say that you can't be an athlete and do this. What I'm saying is proceed with caution, right? Because it just doesn't work that great for me, just because, especially on workout days, you know, I'm doing an hour and a half of heavy lifting most days of the week, so it's just not really ideal for me to do fasting. But I will tell you a secret later here in our live stream about one thing that I do implement with fasting. So that being said, guys, you got to make sure before you start implementing this more advanced diet strategy that you have good quality nutrition, your hunger and your cravings are under control. You're not doing a lot of overeating, because again, once that window opens up, if you're overeating, you're going to be defeating the purpose. And in fact, it's a lot easier to overeat when you're hungry, right? And you're feeling out of control. So that can actually make things worse. And then finally, of course, if you're an athlete, just proceed with caution, okay? That's why it's always good to hire someone like a health coach to help you out if you are one of those populations, okay? And that's actually something that I help my clients with my online coaching programs. Intermittent fasting is one thing that I like to teach. So guys, we're going to go a little bit deeper from here. So if you have any questions, if you guys are either live or watching the replay, pop into the comments. Let me know what your questions are about fasting. All right, I'm going to grab some water and then we're going to jump in. We're going to talk next about the windows, okay? So as I mentioned, the most popular window is 16-8. So basically what that means, you're going to be fasting for 16 hours. 8 hours is going to be your eating window. That is actually kind of tough. So here's what I suggest starting off with. If you're new to fasting, start off with 12-12, okay? And really, to be honest, actually all of us should be doing a 12-12. So basically what that means, 12 hours in between your dinner and your breakfast, right? So if you eat dinner at 6 o'clock in the evening, then you want to wait until at least 6 a.m. to eat again, okay? What's great, it's actually pretty easy to do because a lot of that time you're sleeping, right? So that's a great place to start. Studies have shown, this is what I suggest doing, 16-8 is a little tough, okay? Not gonna lie, you guys can still get really good benefits off of a 14-10, okay? So basically you're gonna be fasting 14 hours, your window's gonna be 10 hours. Totally more doable, guys. And study after study have shown that for women, this is a much better option, okay? The 14-10 versus the 16-8. So what this looks like, I'm going to share with you guys a couple ways you can do this, okay? Most people skip breakfast. So say if you do a 14-hour fast, you basically what you're going to do, if you eat dinner at 6, then let's see, that'd be, you're not going to eat breakfast until at least 8 a.m. Okay, so that'd be about 14 hours. Of course, if you eat a little bit later, then that's going to change it, right? If you eat dinner at 8 p.m., you're not going to eat until 10 a.m. the next day. So that's going to be a 14-hour fast. There is another way to do this, and this is the way I do it when I do fast. I actually eat breakfast every day, and the reason is because I usually get up really early. I like to work out either early in the morning or mid-morning, but I almost always work out early morning. So for me, it just isn't viable to fast in the morning. So what I do, I like to fast in the evening. So I front load my calories, meaning that I usually eat bigger meals in the morning and at lunch anyways versus dinner. So what I do, I'll just stop eating around, like, maybe I have my last snack at 3 p.m. So what I'll do, I'll just go ahead and fast. So usually I'll eat breakfast again, like 5 or 6 a.m. So that's about a 14 to 15 hour fast. So again, guys, I'm pretty athletic, so I don't want to do this a lot, and I don't want to do it like super strict, because I want to make sure that I'm giving my body what it needs for the energy and able to really give it my all when I am working out, and also to help with recovery, because those things are really, really important too. But I like to implement this every now and then. When I'm trying to drop some weight, what I do, I'll do this about once or twice a week. That's going to help me make a bigger dent in my calorie deficit, but without causing a lot of metabolic stress that I talk about in our group. So I'm going to share with you guys some secrets how you can make this work without causing metabolic stress. So without getting too much into it, so I talk a lot about metabolic stress. So this can be caused by lifestyle things. So things like not getting enough sleep, poor quality nutrition, not managing your stress good. All of those things can add stress to the metabolism. And when that happens, this is when we experience things like weight loss plateaus. So when you stop seeing results, a lot of times is because you're causing stress to the metabolism. Your metabolism will fight back in the sense of not seeing any more results. So that's when things like you stop to see things like progress at the gym, whether it's athletic, or maybe you're seeing things like body composition staying the same, or maybe you're even gaining weight. That is your signal that you need to look at your lifestyle, you need to look at your diet, you need to look at your calories, you need to look at all of those things. So guys, here's the thing about intermittent fasting. It's not a great strategy to do for the long term. If you want to do this for 2 weeks straight, absolutely. It'll probably work for you, but here's the thing. If you keep going on with this, because basically what it's doing is putting you in a very big calorie deficit. You're basically skipping a meal. So what is that? That's going to be anywhere 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 calories, right? That you are taking out of your diet each day. Well, that's great, right? But to a certain extent, you're going to have to start cycling some things in, okay? So we talked a little bit about this on Monday with the carb cycling. Same idea, ladies. So if you want to implement it and do like a quick start, what you do it for 2 weeks straight. Do it every day, or as much as you can actually stand. But after 2 weeks, here's what I highly recommend. Do it just a couple times a week, okay? So, what you're going to do, you're going to be eating your regular calories, right? Maybe you have it to where you're in a calorie deficit. Fantastic, okay? Go ahead and do that. But what you're going to do, you're going to implement intermittent fasting. I would say no more than 3 days a week. So maybe what that looks like, I don't know. Maybe you do it on every other day. So maybe you do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you fast. But that's going to be enough to where you're still going to be in a pretty big calorie deficit to where you can keep losing weight. You can keep losing body fat. But that's going to signal to your body. Your hormones are going to be able to communicate that to each other, right? Like, hey, we're not in a crisis. There is no reason why we need to have a metabolism slow down. Everything is all good. So eating normally on the other days is going to signal to your body that there is no shortage of food, okay? There's going to be no reason to have to store more fat, right? Store more food to use as fuel later, which our body does do, by the way. If we go too low with our calories, your body is going to be like, okay, everything is all good. So that's the great thing about this, ladies. It's absolutely wonderful because you guys can tweak this to however you need to with your lifestyle. Whether you guys are doing it like 16-8, 14-10, 12-12, even doing things like I said earlier, instead of maybe if you're an early morning person like me, you do it the way I do it and you just skip dinner versus skipping breakfast, okay? So that's a great thing about intermittent fasting. You can absolutely tweak this so it fits your lifestyle and it fits your needs for your weight loss goals. So that's what I want to say today, guys. Make sure that you're not overdoing this, guys. More is not always better, and I hope you guys will trust me on this, okay? I'm someone who battled with my weight in my 20s because I was constantly starving myself. I was setting myself up for failure because I was going so low on my calories. I trashed my metabolism. And then on top of that, I was so depriving during the week that most of the time I would screw it all up on the weekends by binge eating. So that's why it's really important, guys, to make sure that you have anything like emotional eating, overeating under control, okay, before you start doing something like this, okay? And know that more is not always better, okay? So, being in a calorie deficit is important. Being a big calorie deficit can be harmful, so just be careful with that. So guys, hope this was helpful. We're gonna just do a quick recap before we go, okay? So the most popular windows, 16-8, I suggest 14-10. It's a little bit better for women. It's easier to stay on. You're gonna have an extra 2 hours, okay, to eat. Which I do feel like, because sometimes, a lot of times with the 8 hours, we're just like shoving food down our face, right? And then we end up going over our calories. So I feel like that extra 2 hours gives you a little bit more space, okay? First of all, okay? 12-12, great approach, guys, if you're new to fasting. So just get your feet wet. Stop your last meal of the day, okay? Wait at least 12 hours until you eat breakfast, okay? Make sure that you guys are giving your digestive system a break, okay? Which is really healing for the gut, okay? Okay, if you guys are gonna start the intermittent fasting, if you wanna do it every day, sure, do that. Do it for a short amount of time, 2 weeks max. Once you guys do 2 weeks max, cycle it in, okay? Kind of like carb cycling. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna eat normally. You can still eat in a calorie deficit, just make it a modest one, okay? So what I would do if you wanna lose weight, create a 15% calorie deficit, okay? Totally doable. You're gonna do that on most days. And then 2 to 3 days a week, you're gonna be fasting. So whenever you fast, you're gonna know your calories are gonna be way lower because you're taking out an entire meal. So again, guys, great to do in the short term, but if you guys want to keep going with this, sprinkle it in for the best results. So ladies, hope this was helpful. Comment below any questions that you might have, and I will talk with you soon. All right, have a good rest of your Wednesday. Bye.